Hey, what's up guys? It's your boy Speed here, and today we're going to be watching a Herald 2 Bloodseeker, and I'm going to be critiquing his gameplay from start to finish, picking out clips from throughout the game, and teaching you guys how to be a better carry player. Also, I want to tell you guys that if you've been struggling with solo queue and you're looking to get to the next rank, I'm going to be able to help you. Like, literally, with the Game Leap website, I'm going to give you guys guides that are going to make it unbelievably clear on what you need to do. So if you've been stuck in the solo queue grind, you don't know what to do, and you want to become absolutely broken, but like actually you want to become much better at Dota, and you want to take it more seriously, the Game Leap website is going to help you do that. So click the link down below, I'm going to help you get to the next rank, and I'll see you there. Alright, so starting off, I'd like to talk about items really quickly. I don't really understand his starting item build. He did have tangos, which is good, keep that in mind. But the double slippers doesn't make a lot of sense to me. The reason why is I don't think there's any reason to buy double Wraithband on Bloodseeker almost ever. This hero doesn't take advantage of armor much at all because it has 6 base armor. Going from 6 armor to 10 armor is not significant. Going from 0 armor to 4 armor is. So I really don't like that he has double slippers here. I would at least prefer to see 1 slipper and 1 circlet, or 1 slipper and 3 branches. That would be a lot better. So getting into the second wave of the game, he should creep aggro immediately. Anytime you're playing a melee hero in the early waves against 2 ranged heroes, especially heroes like Viper and Troll who can put a lot of pressure, you need to pull creep aggro as soon as you can to avoid getting auto-attacked. Now, this is Herald, so the Viper and the Troll are literally just auto-attacking the wave, which is insane, but he still should creep aggro to avoid getting hit by Nether Toxin, which I don't know why he has Nether Toxin. Troll axes, Nether Toxin, auto attacks, everything. If you're playing a melee hero against ranged heroes, or even another melee hero that would pressure you at level 1, for instance something like Slardar with his stun, you'd want to be a little bit careful. You want to pull aggro, and then I don't know why he's hitting this guy either. So the next thing Drunken Hands should immediately fix is his pressure. Now, I will say for a Herald, he's way more aggressive than most of the Heralds, but he's too aggressive. There's always a in-between that you're looking for. So right here, this would be an opportunity to cast Bloodright if it's synergized with Disables. When you're playing Bloodseeker, you almost always cast Bloodright for one of 2 reasons. To secure the range creep, sometimes a melee creep if the lane's really hard, or to do damage when pairing it with other Disables. In this case, the Grasp and the Leech Seed. So, you know, I don't know oh my. You know what? Him walking up here isn't even that bad. If Treant actually hit his abilities, it actually would have been a decent opportunity for a Bloodright if he casted it immediately in synergy with the Treant. He didn't do that, and then he cast it really late, and now it's just going to push the wave, and he ends up in between 2 ranged heroes. This is the worst case scenario now. Alright, and then quick, I'll move on now, but he's actually walking back to base 2 minutes in, which is just... It is what it is. It is what it is. Alright, next up, he actually gets really aggressive, and I will admit that this play is just straight up bad if Viper has like 2 points in poison attack and like mana, but thankfully for Drunken Hands, he runs in here and Viper reacts the complete wrong way. Now, unfortunately, he didn't position his Bloodright as far forward as possible here, so it misses again, which is definitely unfortunate, and then somehow he knew the calcs here. Did Viper not have a stick? Oh, he ran out of stick charges because he literally just runs out the Viper and kills him. So, and then tanks the tower again here. His big problem is he has no concept, basically no concept at all. And you might be thinking, oh, this doesn't apply to me, right? I'm not Herald, this is too low. Nothing, I can't learn anything from this. Now, this is the extreme, okay? He has 10 last hits at minute 6. In fact, the whole lobby has like minimal last hits. Treant has 18 last hits? Either way, the point is that in your games, a lot of people get too aggressive. The main thing you need to focus on is last hits and denies. Pressure should come from synergy almost always. What I mean by that is you're probably going in alone too much, or you're not watching your support. Your support will cast a stun, Frostbite, Crystal Nova, Concussive Shot, whatever the ability is, you're not following it up. And in this game, there is not a single time where he worked with the Treant. Almost every time he went in, besides the one time we looked at, which unfortunately got messed up by the Treant, was alone, and I definitely don't recommend that. You're going to be poor. Even if you do put pressure or get the occasional kill, your last hits will be so bad. This guy's insane. Oh my, bro, what are you doing? I can't. No way. I picked this game at random. All right, let's move on. All right, in this next clip, I've literally been laughing for like the last minute. I can't. Like, I'm trying to focus for the video, give you guys good tips, but he has Brown Boots Maelstrom. Either way, the clip we're going to look at here, he's going to TP mid, and basically the main thing I do want to point out, that is a legitimate point and something everyone can learn from, is when you see a fight happening, the main thing I would recommend, and once again, I know people are going to take this the wrong way because it's like, oh, this is so extreme, he's just trying to fight 24/7, but the big thing is, you want to make sure wherever the enemy's positioning it is, it's in a place where they can't disengage. And typically, that's going to be past the river, right? Once they pass the river, once they cross this line, the TP will often be a good idea. Just tuck yourself in the tree line, come out, get a rupture, and go from there. And that would be a good play, right? In fact, I think up until you get to about like 5-6K, even sometimes higher, a lot of the time it's just there's a ton of inconsistency in the TP. It doesn't feel like people fully understand who they're TPing on. Right? Is it an Ember Spirit who can easily disengage and you're just wasting your TP in that case? And are they extended further enough? Right? So yes, he ends up getting a bounty kill. Thankfully, bounty kills himself, but it's obviously not really worth it. It's not worth it in this case, primarily because of the fact of what he's giving up. Right? And that's how you have to look at it. Now, if he TP'd mid and killed the enemy mid laner, I would be like, okay, cool. But now he's killed the bounty hunter and isn't farming this, and this. And so, as a flash farming carry, Bloodseeker is a flash farming carry. And so I don't even mind his concept, even though I think most of his gameplay is completely random. I don't think his concept is bad here, which is TPing mid and helping with kills as Bloodseeker. Bloodseeker's Blood Ride and Rupture are extremely good at early on. They're very valuable. However, after Rupture is down, you can just kind of go jungle, right? You can just go clean up the jungle. And yes, his team is winning, so things are going to look better than they actually are, but he could just be clearing the entire top side. So the next play that I don't like is hitting this tower here. There's no reason 16 minutes into the game with almost no information to hit the tower. Thankfully for him, the Viper's not in position because one Viper ulti would certainly kill him with the AA ulti on him and a couple of auto attacks. Don't hit the tower, guys. There are a few heroes in Dota that can specifically hit towers when the enemy team is not showing, and that is like Beastmaster, Lycan, Enigma. You get the trend, right? It's the unit heroes. If you're not one of those heroes, you can still hit towers. You just need information. So I don't even mind him going back in here. Yes, I really don't like the fact that he's constantly clumping up. Frankly, his positioning, him stacking on top of his teammates is very bad. In that case, he should have just casted Blood Right and relaxed. The next thing that he does that isn't very good is he takes the level 10 talent, which gives Blood Rage 25 attack speed. The problem is, if you skill Blood Rage, it gives 30 attack speed, and 5% spell amp, and a lower cooldown, and it doesn't amp the mana cost. So it's just always bad to do this. Now you should never max out Blood Right. The build on Bloodseeker is always to max out your Q, so you can just shred the jungle. It's particularly good because the attack speed is broken with Maelstrom, and the spell amp is extremely good with Maelstrom. So it just makes a lot of sense. You flash farm the jungle because these things work well with Maelstrom. You know, one thing that is super hype though, shout out Drunken Hands. He purchases, eventually, wait a minute, the 20-minute tome, exactly a minute 20. I mean, this is something a lot of 7K players don't do, 8K, 9K, 10K players don't do. This man, it's actually a good play. I'm not even joking, I am joking, but I'm not really joking. It's actually really good that he buys the tome. Now, I don't think you should always buy it on carry. Most of the time you shouldn't, but considering he is the lowest net worth on his team as the hard carry, I actually don't think it's bad for him to pick up the tome on the Bloodseeker. Another play that I actually do like from his gameplay is the fact that when they're hitting bottom tower here, he kind of quickly realizes, because he had just died at the mid tower, pushing the mid tower. And I think he had some like Vietnam flashbacks here, because he eventually decides that, hey, this isn't worth it. I'm wasting a lot of time, it's too risky, I can hit jungle camps instead. And often what I teach to my coaching students is when your team sets up at a tower, you have to make the quick decision of, am I the siege hero? And should we even be sieging this at all? If the tower is full HP and you don't have a siege hero, which they don't this game, just don't try to take the tower. You can try to take the tower if the enemy team is showing 5 heroes on the opposite side of the map and you aren't afraid of a TP, but most games, what Hans does here is actually exactly correct. He kills these 2 neutral camps. Now, he probably should have ran to the mid lane instead of this large camp, It's just inefficient. It's better to take the mid lane and then the large camp, because then he could have been close to his team at the end of this farming rotation. And that's a key thing for farming, right? That's another big point for farming. When you're farming, you want to make sure the camps that you're taking are going in the direction of your team if you're at a point where you want to fight. Now, of course, if you're playing Naga Siren and you have Manta and half of your Orchid, maybe you want to farm away from your team, right? You actually want to avoid the fights. And that's something to think about. If you're playing Juggernaut, Omni Slash is off cooldown, farm towards your team, right? Be ready for that fight to break out. Maybe sacrifice 100, 200 net worth just to be in position in case a fight breaks out. That's actually a really high skill concept. That's unfortunately not what he does here, though. He goes from large camp back to the mid lane, which puts him far away from his team. Thankfully, no fight broke out, but yeah, it could actually be really bad. Now, this TP top is actually really solid, too. He sees the Tiny pushing out the wave. He knows that they can't end the game yet. Maybe he doesn't know that, but he's playing like they can't end the game yet, which they can't if the enemy team is in position until they Rosh, which hopefully he does right now. He'll do it next game, but he gets a good rupture on Troll at least. That's good. And once again, he buys the tome, minute 30. He knows what's up. He knows what's up. He watches Game Leap. Now, I don't know how you could possibly buy the tome every single 10 minutes and go an item build like this. It seems so insane to me, but... And one thing I will say about this game to end off the video, a little bit of praise for Mr. Hands. As much as his gameplay is completely sporadic and honestly is just terribly inefficient, the one thing that I will say is his gameplay, whether or not it's intentional, actually kind of does fit his team comp. His offlaner is a Pudge, and his mid laner is one of the greediest heroes in Dota and Arc Warden. So being active as a carry when you have two other greedy side laners can be a good idea, especially if you're playing a hero like Bloodseeker. It's a fantastic idea to show up to the majority of fights and try to turn the tides to create space on the map, right? Instead of taking all the farm, you can try to get a couple of kills, especially on your BKB timing, which he didn't buy this game, but you get the point. I actually don't mind his overall gameplay, like the idea of it. Unfortunately, the execution is just completely horrendous, which I'm sure all of us, or most of us, would agree with. But I honestly believe that there is truth to what I said, which is, if you have a greedy mid laner, you should be more active. You don't have to split push constantly. You should defend the mid tier 1 tower and be the guy who enables his position 4 and position 5 and sometimes the position 3 to win the early to mid game fights. And alright, that's going to be all for today's video. I think for next video, I'm going to try doing this more of like clip type guide, where instead of just talking throughout the entirety of the game, I pick certain clips throughout the game. And I'm probably going to do this for maybe the mid lane in the 3K bracket. If you have a game that you want me to look at, you can message me on Discord. My tag is speed. There are 3 E's in speed. Hashtag 3853. I'll just pick one of the games that you guys send. We'll have a good time, and I'll hopefully be able to critique a bit more. When I went into this video, I'm not going to lie to you guys, I had a large intent on trying to really educate. Drunken Hands was on such a different level. He's definitely actually drunk. That's okay, he probably is actually. But nonetheless, I had a good time. I'll see you guys in the next one. And I'm out. Peace.
And that's all, but remember, before you leave, come on, before you tune out, subscribe to the Game Leap website, where we are going to help you get to the next rank. If you're stuck, click the link down below, and I'm out. Peace.